Can we be honest and admit that most people talking about Snow White don't actually care about Disney princesses at all? So here are my opinions as someone who was really into Disney princesses as a kid. I literally dress like this daily, and this was one of the first toys ever purchased for me. I literally still remember the day. I remember how excited I was. I remember the store. I remember just the joy, the happiness I felt holding her for the first time. She means a lot to me. She meant a lot to me then, and she still does. And I'm the kind of person who still double taps on pretty art of Disney princesses. So look, I'm not trying to gatekeep, right? I'm not saying like, oh, I am the real Disney fan. You guys are fake fans. You're not allowed to have an opinion, or like you're only allowed to have an opinion if you are a fan. But what I've noticed is that a lot of people are just using this movie as an excuse to say some really yikes things. Like, why is there so much intense hate about something as frivolous as a Disney princess movie? Like, guys, it's just a Disney princess movie. I don't understand why the reaction is just so intense. So yeah, here are my takes. Snow White doesn't deserve a 1.9. It's just mid. Look, if I had to describe Snow White in one word, it would be mid. Songs, mid. Styling, mid. Set design, mid. Acting, mid. Chemistry, mid. CGI, worse than mid? But I have seen worse, okay? Like, this is such an utterly unremarkable movie. The only thing remarkable about this movie is the sheer amount of negative attention it's getting. Like, I just genuinely don't understand. This movie is just so mid. It's like the perfect definition of a 5, alright? Snow White isn't even the lowest rated IMDb movie. So I've seen a lot of people saying it's the lowest rated IMDb movie. It's not. Like, I'm not even an IMDb user, so I don't really know how it really works, but it took me like 10 seconds to find movies lower rated than it. Yeah, I don't really understand, like, is it sorted by... It's obviously not sorted, because look, there's some that are like lower, but like it's under the list, and I don't really understand. But anyways, the headlines might have been outdated, but as of recording, there are definitely lower rated movies. Snow White could have been Asian. Listen, Disney. I know you rejected my job application, so I know you definitely don't care about what I have to say, but like, dude, if you're gonna race bend, why not just make Snow White snow yellow? See, people from East Asia are generally a 3 or a 4 on the Fitzpatrick scale, so darker than white people, generally. But there are a lot of pale or light-skinned people. So if you compare the Asians in these pictures, we have Rose, we have Heian, and we have Lily Fei, who Disney did infamously cast as Mulan in Mulan 2020. Yeah, they're a lot paler than the white people around them. East Asian media is infamous for whitewashing, so I purposefully use pics from a Western source where they're, next to white people in the same photo. And I'm sure you can find tons of examples like this on the internet. On a more personal note, here are my brother and I. I'm pretty pale for an Asian, and off the top of my head, I can list a bunch of people I've seen in real life who are my tone or who are lighter. And okay, I've had Asian classmates so pale, literally light bounces off of them, and they look like ghosts. I am not kidding. So yeah, while there are white people with natural black hair, the Bumblebee combo is a lot more common than the monochrome combo. So Disney, I'm just saying, if you want a non-white actress, alright, you can totally cast a yellow girl to fit in with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. And look, natively, the word used for pale-skinned Asians isn't yellow, it's white, like both in historical documents and modern day. Asian beauty standards value pale skin not because they want to literally look Caucasian. Like, it's because pale skin is associated with wealth, because back in the olden days, rich people didn't have to work in the fields and become tan like peasants. And when my relatives compliment my skin, they're not like, oh my gosh, Jin, you have such beautiful light yellow skin. Your skin is so light yellow. They use the word white, alright? Like, it's the same word used for Snow White in the translation. It's literally the color white. Like, white. And to be perfectly clear, I'm not saying cast an Asian actress as Snow White. Like, I'm not saying do it, it's a good idea. I know that poor woman is gonna get torn to shreds, and I wouldn't want to wish that on any fellow yellow fellow. Okay, that's the last yellow joke. I promise I couldn't resist. Snow White being Latina had literally no effect on anything. One of my favorite recent trends is the Meiku around the world art. I just think it's so cool seeing Meiku in these cultural outfits. I think, art like this, in the same vein, is super pretty, and I love the fact that it's a reinterpretation of a classic. Now, Rachel's casting literally made zero difference, not her clothes or anything else, and that's not an inherently bad thing, but I just think, dude, this is so cool. Like, can we just look at it, okay? I just think it's so pretty, so cool, and I don't know, I really like it. Rachel didn't destroy Snow White. Listen, I know I said the acting was mid earlier, but to clarify, I think Rachel was pretty good in it, Like, the one bright spot in this movie was her singing. She has a gorgeous, beautiful singing voice, and while the songs are kind of mid, I genuinely enjoyed her singing. She has this, really sweet, really pretty vocal tone, and she does, the kind of vibrato that a lot of the olden day Disney princesses used to do all the time. I just think it really fit, and yeah, I thought her singing was great. And look, she is just one actress. There were so many executive decisions made by other people she had absolutely no say in, okay? Yes, she had really bad PR before the movie released, but the movie itself is super mid in quality, alright? The script, the dialogue, the songs, everything I listed before. She has no control over that. I don't understand the leap of logic people take to say, she ruined Snow White. No, she didn't write the script, guys. She didn't design the sets. She didn't make the hideous CGI, alright? Snow White is a feminine girl who falls in love and gets saved by a dude. A lot of people were upset by her statement saying, it's not gonna be a girl falling in love and getting saved. No, bro, it is. It literally is. That is false advertising, alright? Listen, inside me are two wolves. A hopeless romantic who wants a big, strong man to buy me a fancy camera. I'm literally using my webcam and it shows. Bear with me. And the other wolf wants to buy myself the camera and is sick and tired of the same damsel in distress stories and felt so disappointed that Snow White does, in fact, get saved by a big, strong man who she has a really boring romance with. This video suggested, hey, what if her dwarf friends, when carrying her coffin, accidentally trip and the apple bite gets the sludge out of her throat? And look, yeah, that's not getting saved by a man. I mean, not directly, but okay. Look. Yes, I do find damsel stories to be pretty boring, from a narrative standpoint, but I'm not even completely against them. They can be done well. I love you, Soul Society. But come on, Snow White didn't even do it well, alright? Most people talking about Snow White don't actually care about Snow White, and cyberbullying is bad, actually. So, as I alluded to in the intro, there are a lot of really gross things being said about Rachel right now. And I should have known things were sus when years ago I got Critical Drinker recommended in my YouTube. And for reference, here are the creators I usually get recommended. They are excellent, and they are quite far from the guy who thinks a competent woman in the movie ruins the movie. Hello, editing me here. Just to clarify, what I meant to say is I usually don't get recommended content made by people who have DEI or just the modern day strong female character archetype as a focal point of attack in their videos. It's just not something that content creators I watch focus on a lot, so that's just one pattern I kind of just spotted. If you look at the things being said and the people saying these things, a pretty clear pattern emerges. And I'm not saying everyone criticizing Snow White is doing it in bad faith, but the loudest voices seem to be just straight up insulting Rachel in just really gross and vile ways. And look, yes, I think she lacked wisdom, and I do think it was pretty bad PR. Yeah. But, oh my god. the really gross things being said about her are terrible, and it's clear there's a certain group of people who are just using her and the situation in the movie as a scapegoat to be gross. Like, the amount of hate she gets for, like, being smug. Like, where is this energy towards actual convicted criminals? Like, oh my goodness. It's so disproportionate. Stop cyberbullying. It's not cool. Yeah. I do want to make a follow-up to this. There's other things I want to say about, especially this last point. But it's getting dark, and the lighting is about to get even worse. So thank you so much for watching this video.